Each October, thousands of tourists visit Nepal with the goal of making it to the top of the Annapurna hiking trail, the world's 10th highest peak. But this year, tragedy struck. The region was hit by a massive snowstorm, killing at least 40 people.
Okay.
A matter of the weather and the thickness of the snow, that is the hampering our movement, basically.
Nepalese authorities had conducted a full-scale operation in order to find any survivors of the avalanches. Over 600 trekkers and guides have been moved away to safety. And just as the country was beginning the process of recovering from these events, another accident. A bus packed with people heading home for a Hindu festival veered off a mountain highway, killing 14 and injuring dozens. Police are investigating the cause of the crash, but poor maintenance of roads and vehicles are a known issue in Nepal. The Nepalese government has vowed to reinforce security in the country's tourism industry in order to avoid such events in the future. Our focus this week is on Nepal. Hello and welcome to our focus on Nepal. Now that the storm has subsided, the rescuers left, as well as the many media teams, we would like to start gathering some information about the calm after the storm and say hello to Sivan Raviv, an Israeli journalist who is now in Pokhara. Hello, Sivan.
Hello.
You have spoken with some of the survivors of the snowstorm. What did they tell you about the terrible moments they had witnessed there?
Yes, I have met with numerous survivors from this tragic storm at Annapurna. They've told me horrific stories about marching for 13 hours straight in the freezing cold. Some lost their shoes, their gloves. They were not properly dressed. I spoke to groups who were separated, with some friends not making it to the end. All of these backpackers who essentially came here to Nepal to have a good time, to hike and watch beautiful sunrises and sunsets, ultimately had to face very serious moral questions and decisions. Do I save my friend or do I save myself? Do I keep going despite the fact that I see people calling for help? If I help them, I may not survive. These were extremely difficult decisions for many travelers I spoke to, with most of them suffering from the guilt and the consequences of those detrimental decisions to this day, and for a very long time, I'm sure.
1 week after this tragedy, has the Nepali government decided to take action so they can be better prepared in the future and such events will occur?
You see, Nepal's economy is largely based on tourism, and the Annapurna circuit especially draws about a third of the country's tourists. And so this tragedy in the Himalayas could potentially cause a major blow for the state income. For the rescue operation, the government did send out military rescue teams, including helicopters which searched for bodies and treated the wounded. However, sources I spoke to say the military was not exactly properly equipped with medical supplies to treat the main type of injuries, which were hypothermia and frostbite. And the Nepali government has indeed been under attack for not having had a weather warning system in place. And so it recently stated new regulations will be enforced by April, including such a system, as well as stricter guidelines for the trekkers.
Thank you, Sivan. Come back safe.
Thank you.
Adventurous people will find Nepal as one of the most exciting, breathtaking destinations. According to Nepal Tourism Board, a total of around 800,000 foreign tourists entered the country last year. The tourism industry is seen as a way to alleviate poverty. However, in light of recent occurrences, the business must have been affected. Joining us now is Shyam, manager of Swissa's Mountain Way Trekking, a travel company in Pokhara. Hey, Shyam. Thank you for joining us. So right now it is the peak of the trekking season in Nepal. Have you witnessed some sort of decrease in tourist reservations for trekking?
So about the Annapurna reservation, after what happened, that disaster, so there is of course much less reservation, much less booking. And even in the beginning, the government was not allowed to pass for 6 days. Then of course we didn't advise to the people to go there. And after that, nowadays people are slowly going, but not so many people. They are cancelling their around Annapurna trekking, and they are joining for the other treks, other small treks like Mardi Himal, Annapurna Base Camp, and other. But since these last few days, people are going again to the around Annapurna.
So as a result of this snowstorm and its aftermath, is your company going to change working procedures, operating differently?
Yeah. Now what is the lesson for all the travelers, all the agencies like us also? So we tell them, we tell to our clients and our guide and porters to see the situation of weather before they go, for the pass, because this is very important. Let's say if there is a little bit cloudy, if there is snowing, then they should stop at the village before they pass. Otherwise, if the weather is very clean, then everything is clear, they can continue. That's what we advise.
And what about the tourists themselves? Are they any different now, maybe more aware of the dangers?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they are very, very aware of this. And they check the weather forecast. But you know what? It is a Himalayan country. So when there is hilly and Himalayan region, then weather forecast work less. Is not exact. They don't need to cancel whole trip. They can go until the Manang. Manang, just before the pass. It is beautiful village, which is on height of 3,500 meter, which is like, people can, there are Tibetan type of people also lives there. So they can learn a lot of things. They can see a lot of mountains from there. So it's going to be very interesting even until there. So people can go there. Yeah.
Thank you, Shyam, for this interview. I want to wish you that both business and weather will go back to normal. And now, what else is going on in Nepal?
Nepal and India have signed a historic power trade agreement last week in Kathmandu. The agreement allows exchange of electricity and new cooperation in the hydropower sector between the two energy-starved nations. The agreement also aims at enhancing the friendly relations and mutual trust between Nepal and India. After months of back and forth on the issue, Nepal's finance ministry has finally given the green light to a proposed project to build a regional international airport in Pokhara. Construction for the airport will start this year, according to the ministry, and is expected to cost some $215 million. A father and daughter who had gone missing since the deadly avalanche in Nepal have been found safe and well. Simon and Sophie Wild from Australia have finally been able to make contact with family more than a week after the snowstorm. They are due to return home in just a few days. The Nepalese government asked people to cut down the use of festive lights during Tihar, ironically Nepal's annual lights festival. The National Electricity Authority issued the instructions citing recent cuts in power production in Nepal. The authority has also asked people to refrain from using high-power consuming devices during 3 days this month. Nepal's football chief Ganesh Thapa has stepped down from his post recently, pending a parliamentary investigation accusing him of embezzling millions of dollars and accepting bribes during his 19 years on the job. Thapa will be standing aside for at least 2 months while the investigation is ongoing.
Agriculture is Nepal's principal economic field, employing more than 70% of the population and accounting for a little over 1/3 of GDP. Climate change not only threatens Nepali farmers' livelihood, but also the nation's food security. To discuss this matter, we're joined by Ravi Kumar, a Nepali living and working in Washington, D.C. He's the co-founder of Code for Nepal, an initiative to increase digital literacy and open practical data in Nepal. Hello, Ravi. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell us, what is the impact of climate change on Nepal's economy?
At least 80% of Nepalese primarily live in rural areas whose main occupation is agriculture. Due to climate change, rainfall has significantly decreased in the past decade. Generally speaking, people who are poor are heavily affected by climate change. Nepal remains one of the poorest countries. Most Nepalese still don't have access to basic infrastructure. Now, they are the ones who suffer most from climate change, and because of that, so does the economy.
So what are the latest tendencies in the Nepalese economy? Will agriculture remain as crucial as it is now in the next years, according to your estimations?
Well, in the recent years, we are increasingly becoming dependent on remittances. That's leading to growth in service sector. Now, agriculture continues to be crucial for Nepal's economy. As literacy rate increases, people are getting more access to technology. And as Nepal increasingly becomes part of the global economy, people who participate in Nepal's agriculture sector will decrease.
What about foreign investments? How attractive and welcoming is Nepal for such investors, and who are they mostly?
It might help if I give a brief background here. So Nepal is a landlocked country. It recently overcame the decade-long civil war. We have a chaotic, unstable political environment. Nepal lacks adequate infrastructure to do business. All of this makes Nepal less attractive for foreign investors. Net foreign direct investment in Nepal is on average about 0.1% of GDP. Now that's way low than what it should be. But in recent years, I have personally seen foreign-born entrepreneurs taking risks and thriving in Nepal.
Ravi, where are you from originally, exactly in Nepal, and how did you end up working in DC?
Thanks for asking that question. I'm from eastern part of Nepal. It's a small town called Janakpur. I came to the United States a few years ago to pursue my undergraduate degree, and I was in Iowa at Buena Vista University to do my bachelor's. Then I came to New York at Columbia University to do my master's. And then I'm at the World Bank now working and living in DC.
Ravi, thank you so much for this interview, and see you again. The semester or during summer vacation, students are usually trying to work and save money or spend as much time as possible lying on the beach. This was not the case of a group of 40 Israeli students from the College of Management in Rishon LeZion. In their final year, they travel in a humanitarian delegation to poor countries to volunteer in elementary schools for a few weeks. Last year, they were in Nepal. The people who organized these trips are Shachar Nahari and Maor Cohen, the heads of the Foreign Relations Department of the Student Union in college. Hi, guys.
Hi, hey. How
are you? Shachar, let's start with you. This sounds like an amazing initiative. Tell us a bit about the work of the students with the children in the elementary schools, or how did you start organizing such trips?
Basically, what we do is we take a group of 40 students. We take interviews with them, and we initiate all the activities that we do on site in Nepal. We do it all beforehand, of course. And when we get to the site itself, basically what we do is we split to two groups. One group is running activities such as ODT, outdoor training, thinking games, teaching station, even environment and so. And the other group is doing some painting, because obviously what we want to do is we want to leave something behind us after we leave, so the kids will come to a different school with colors and you know, flowers and kids holding hands and such.
Nice. So, Maor, did you receive any feedback?
Oh, actually, we receive feedbacks all the time. The people there, the Nepali people, they always encourage us, and they told us how big the thing we do. We actually did this year two humanitarian delegations, one in Nepal and one in the Philippines. So the Israeli ambassador in the Philippines came to me and told me, you know, what you just did this year, it's incredible, and I can't even tell it in words because it's something that I never saw before. And thank you very much. It makes me proud. I really appreciate it.
You sure do have a reason to be proud. So, Shachar, what did you find so special about Nepal or the Nepali citizens themselves?
First of all, that they have their own time. Their evaluation of time is something that is admirable, I must say. They're very, how can I call it, laid back. They're very chill about their time. Everything they do with a smile. They always say yes. That's amazing about them. Even when they don't want to disappoint you, they will say yes, they will nod their head, and you have to read between the lines if they actually mean yes or no. They always come to your hand. They never will ask you too much about your personal life. They not get too much details. Only what you want to share with them. Basically, amazing people. And we're enjoying doing these delegations with them 2 years in a row already.
So, Maor, do you feel on these trips as if you're representing the state of Israel?
Actually, it's the main point, yeah. We came there as non-original presenters because we just came from the society, And we actually talked about it with the Foreign Ministry of Israel, and they told us, you know what the best thing there is? That you come from the society, and you're not coming like a government messenger or something like that. And when we come, they see Israel.
Guys, thank you so much for this interview. Keep it up, keep doing wonderful job, and see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The world-famous Nepalese Gurkha soldiers used a traditional curved knife as a weapon. It was said that once the knife was drawn in battle, it had to taste blood. If not, its owner had to cut himself before returning it to its sheath. I'm just sharing this piece of information with you. I'm not going to cut myself here in the studio. Let's just say goodbye on a more peaceful tone. Namaste, until our next focus next week.